Welcome back, guys, and again, you join me from the unusual location of the music room and not the railway cabin. That is because I forgot, unfortunately, to do the intro video for the video I'm about to show you. Anyway, we'll press on, it is what it is. So today I'm going to show you a Class 92, which was made by Lima and had the old Ringfield motor in it. And I'm going to show you how I've gone from DC to DCC using the Illuminated Models 8-pin boards, which is a really straightforward process to do. It is quite a long video, but it is quite in depth. So this is how I've done it. By all means, this is how like I said, that's how I've done it and how I like to do it when I'm converting my locos. Other people have different ways. Some people like to hardwire straight to the chips, but I like to go into a board so I can remove the pin chip if I ever need to. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Again, thanks for the support and watching the video on the channel. And yeah, we'll be back with you soon with the latest update. So you take care and enjoy your weekends. We'll see you soon.
So the tools you'll need to do this: a soldering iron, some solder, some flux, some wire snippers or cutters, some wire. Now the colours I've chosen are orange, red, grey and black to make it uniform with the DCC decoder colours. Now the wire I've got here I got from Roads and Rails. I'll put a link in the description. And you will also need some AL18 8-pin DCC decoder sockets. Now these are from Illuminated Models, and again I will put a link in the description. And last but not least, you're going to need some sticky pads. So let's get on with it then, and I will show you how to convert a Lima chassis from DC to DCC. Okay, so the first step, I would advise taking your wire and I would go about cutting it to the right length first of all. So I would give a little bit so you've got something to work with, just in case you have any wire breakages or you make any errors anywhere down the line, and you can always resolder. So for me, for a rule of thumb, now some of you might say I've gone too far, but I would go from the first buffer stop, probably then to the first wheel set on the right hand side. So that would be my length. Alright, then I'll cut it to size. So then that gives us our red wire. And then this is where your wire cutters come in. You just want to take off the ends to expose the bare wire. Hopefully you can see that. And you want to do it on both ends. And then you want to repeat that process on all of your wires. Now the wires you're going to need, like I said, you've got one red one there already. You're going to need a grey wire, which I prepped earlier on. You're going to need an orange wire, which I've also prepped earlier. And also a double black wire. So when I say double black wire, what I've done, I've cut two pieces of wire, black wire should I say, one a little bit longer than the other, and now that is to allow for a connection from here and also from there to go into the middle of the chassis. And then I've twisted the ends together, put a dab of flux on there, and then put a little bit of solder on just to seal the joints on the connection. So that's the wire you're going to need for this installation. So let's go on to the next part. So next up is prepping your little boards from Illuminated Models. Now what I would do on these, put a little bit of flux on each corner connection and then apply a little bit of solder to give me some pads to work with, ready for when I want to put the wires on it. Okay, the good thing about these as well, they are clearly marked on the back to show you what each one is for. So later on down the line you can add your lights and stuff like that as well if you wanted to, and sounds. Alright, so let's put that away and we get on to the next part. Okay, so now obviously it's going to come to getting rid of the connections. So first of all, I'm going to take that one away, which goes down to one of the pickups, as I mentioned before. I'm going to turn the chassis on its side, okay, and you can see that there is a motor connection here and a motor connection here, motor right and motor left. Just going to apply the soldering iron and get rid of those now. Now it might take a little bit longer for the solder to come away because it is quite old on these locos. This one's been a bit tough. There we go, and he's away. So that's that one there, that's one come off. Now what you can do is take the dummy bogey away, lift it up, and he'll come straight off. Alright, so we'll put him to one side for a minute. And then what I'm going to do now is going to take the powered bogey off. Like I previously mentioned, it is just 2 small screws. There we go, off they come. Bogey frame comes away. Make sure you keep the screws in a safe place because you don't want to lose them. And then the powered bogey should just come straight up at the chassis. And you put the chassis to one side for now. Now what you see on the Ringfield motor is a little capacitor. Now you want to try and get rid of that if you can. Well, definitely want to get rid of it. Either use the snips or try and unsolder it off if you can. And you also see that there's a wire from this pickup, from this motor, from the left motor going down to the pickup here. So that wire also needs to come away. So we get that away now. There's one. This is quite fiddly doing it, trying not to get my hands in the way, but I think it's inevitable and it's going to happen. And also trying to hold the bogey. So just try on this camera. As you see, I'm filming on 2 different angles here to try and help a little bit. There you go. He's come away now. So that's the power bogey sorted. Like I said, just need to try and get this little capacitor off now. First of all, I'm just going to have a quick inspection of it to see where it's joint to and how tough it is, and bend it, see if it'll come off. Now that one's quite loose, so you can probably just take him straight off, to be honest. But sometimes you get little solder tabs on each side. So I'm just going to try and remove him. There you go, look, he's popped straight off. So that was no drama with that one at all. That's no good anyway. Nil and void those now. So next up, I'm just going to come off camera and just going to quickly tidy up these 2 solder joints. With the next bit of preparation, I would get the little tabs, motor left and motor right, all clean and tidy. Apply a little bit more flux on it, and then put some more solder on the joints if there's not enough there already. And yeah, just like I said, just give them a little bit of a clean. What I did manage to do was get the bit of wire which was underneath here and underneath here from the old little TV capacitor, and got them away. So that's prepped now and ready to take some wire. Now it's time to put the wire back on to the motor. So I'm going to get a little bit of solder on my iron, and I'm going to do the orange wire first. Now the orange wire is motor right, which will be this one here. Okay. Now if you're a good solderer, you'll do a lot better job than this I am. There's one done. So next, it's time to get the grey wire on. Now what I like to try and do on the grey wire is feed it through the back of this connection. Obviously it'll be right flush behind, so it connects that way. Just gives better movement on the wire when it's inside the loco. It is quite fiddly to do, but you can get it done. So get it in position ready. Get yourself another bit of solder. And then hopefully it will just take it straight away. And that should be done. So we'll just give it a little bit of an inspection. Yeah, he's good. And the orange one's good as well. So that's those 2 motor wires done and ready to go. So we'll put him to one side. Well, we're getting there now. There's only 2 wires left to unsolder. So the first one is the pickup on the trailing bogie, which is the dummy bogie. So it's literally down there. You'll see it easy. If I just bring it to the camera, you can see where he's connected there, that little solder joint. So I'm just going to take that piece of wire away from there now. There you go, it's come away easy enough. Again, you could probably reuse that wire later on, but I'm opting not to. Just want a whole set of fresh wire on there. So he's ready now. Again, with that one, I would put another bit of solder on there ready for the next bit of wire. And last but not least, just got to do this little bit. Sorry, we've got to do this little tab now. He wants to come away. Shouldn't be doing this on a work surface, but hey ho, there we go, it's come away. So there's the little tab now, ready for the next bit of wire. And again, a little bit of flux, a little bit of solder, and that'll be good to go to take another bit of wire. Now we're going to get the dummy bogie ready. So it's going to be a case of just wiring on one of the black double wires which we prepped earlier on. So for the dummy bogie, you want to use the shorter of the 2. So I'll just move the other one out of the way, just tuck it beyond my finger. Get my soldering iron. Again, apply a little bit of solder. And then I will put the wire down, press against it, and just connect it. So that's good, that's jobs are good on that one. So I'm going to bring the dummy bogie into play now. Okay, so the double wire, you can see obviously there's one going to the pickup, which you've already soldered on, and then the loose one. I'm going to feed it back up through the hole of the chassis. Alright, and then I'm going to bring the tag in through and then place it back onto the chassis. Now you can get your little clip which you've not yet soldered up yet. Alright, and you can use that just to grip it. We'll come back and then we'll come back to him later. So it will just mean that the dummy bogie doesn't go anywhere if you lift it up, nice and secure. Push him on a bit further, there we go. Now it's time to solder the other black wire now. So this black wire will go to the go to the pickup on the motor bogie. So we'll bring that in and move the chassis out the way, and I'll lay him down. Now on the motor, you can see there's a little solder tab here, and that's where you need to solder the next black wire to. So let's do that now. And he's on. So just got to be careful now, because you obviously don't want to go breaking any wires. So move this chassis back in. You've got plenty of wire to work with there. You can lower him back into the chassis. Okay. Turn it on its side, and then you can put the cover back on, which I'm going to do now. This is a lot easier to do when you're not filming it, and a lot quicker. Quite a few things have gone wrong tonight when I've been trying to film this for you guys, but we get there. So that's all connected now. So now we've got all our wires ready to go. All right. So now all we have to do now is get the insulation models little chipboard in now and start doing that. Okay, so there's the board. And now I just got to put the pads on. So I've got to try and find one of those. So I'm going to use 2 on here because unfortunately it's not level. So I'm going to stick one across that way. And then I'm going to get another one and go across the other way. It's like a cross effect, right? And that'll be enough then to apply the pad. Make sure you've got it the right way around. All right, so I always look at the back and make sure the writing is facing towards me if we flip it over. So I'll press him down so he's good to go, and obviously you can get it off and check if you need to. Alright, and then we need to bring in the red wire, and then that will be the pickup, the last pickup wire you need to solder on, and that will be onto this little brass tab here. So let's get a little bit of solder and get a little bit of flux. So I'm going to put a little bit, I'm going to do a new connection on here, so I'm going to put a little bit of flux on the joint here. Oh, almost there. Go on. I'll do that. Perfect. And then I'm going to get my red wire and solder him onto there. Perfect. So he's good to go. And then this is the last bit. Just soldering up the loose wires now onto the board. So let's do the red one first. A bit too much solder on there really, but it doesn't have to be perfect. So that's the red one done. Okay, now we're going to do the grey wire, which is motor left. So I'm going to bring him out the way a minute. That's where the screwdriver can come in handy to tuck him down. Now I'm going to try and get it so it's flowing the right way, the wire. There we go, he's on. That's good. Next we're going to do motor right, which is orange. He's good. And then last but by no means least is the black wire. And he goes to the bottom left corner. There we go, so we're all wired up now. So what we're going to do now is get a blanking plate, if I can find one. We will then apply it to the little board, making sure number 1 goes to orange. If he wants to go in, he's been a bit stubborn, maybe the pins are a little bit bent, which they are. Always the way, isn't it? Let me just quickly bend those pins back a moment. It's obviously where I've been careless the last time I've used it. Let's just try that again. So number 1 is obviously always orange. So he's in there, that's brilliant. So it's now time to get the rolling road in now, and we can give it a test on DC to make sure it all works. Give it a little bit of a run in, oil the motor if we need to, give it a little bit of a service, and then you should be ready for DCC running. So let's do the next step now, and hopefully it will work properly. I just wanted to very quickly summarise the colour coding on the wires and where they go to on the Insulated Models 8-pin board, because when I watched it back it wasn't very clear, to be perfectly honest. So like I said, just a quick summary of where each colour goes, and this should, well, it's not that it should, it does match up with your decoder colours as well. So if you want to plug in a decoder into the board, the colours should match. So like orange will go to orange, red will go to red, for example. So the orange wire at the top left hand corner of the screen is motor right. On the top right hand corner, the red wire is track right. The bottom left hand corner with the black wire is track left, and the bottom right hand corner, which is the grey wire, is motor left. So I hope that clears up any confusion on that, guys. So now is the moment of truth to see if all that hard work is paid off. So let's put it in the forward position and apply a bit of power. Brilliant. So that's success. And let's just make sure it works in the reverse direction, which it does. And again, just to touch on it really, I would say to run them in at least half an hour in both directions now, just to make sure everything's working as it should. And then once you're confident that it's working okay, you can of course add a decoder into the pin board you've just wired in. So that, guys, is how to make an old Lima locomotive DCC ready. I hope you've enjoyed it and found it useful, and we'll be sure to see you on the next how-to, guys. Anyway, take care and stay safe.